relaxation, we've had time with family and friends, and now it's January and it's time to take a look back at the year that we've had in the previous years and take a look forward at what we're going to create now. So my first question to you, I'm sure everyone has got their books all reconciled and they've already been delivered to the accountant for your taxes for the new year. I mean, you know, today is the 12th after all, so I'm sure everybody's books are reconciled, right? Great, great. And I'm sure that everybody's got their goals written down and their budgets prepared for the next year. I know the public organizations, PUD, has got their budget, right? Now, does everybody else have their budgets and their goals in writing, put together? How about the marketing plan that you're launching for this next year? Have you got it all written? Have you launched it? Have you got your ad buys made, the mediums, where you're going to be placing your messages? Have you freshened up your logo and your slogans and your website? So these are all things that are important, and we know that they're important, and we do them to varying degrees. And in a very real sense, this is why large businesses all have these things, and they must have them. And because if they didn't have them, what would happen to them? They'd collapse. They have to have this structure. And all organizations began as just an idea, as a small organization. And what differentiates small organizations from large ones? And it's having this kind of structure. We all know it, but it takes discipline, it takes work to do it. And it takes doing it over and over and refining it, and it's never perfect, it's just a blueprint. We make a blueprint, and then we change the blueprint. You make a blueprint, and then you go to build the building, and you go, I don't like the window there. That's a crazy. Who decided to put the window there? There's a tree in front of the window. Let's move the window over 2 feet. There, that's a great view. So it's time to take our businesses to the next level. It's a new year, fresh start. So what could you do to really make a difference to your customers? How could you look at the services and the products that you offer, look at your ideal customers, and what can you do to better serve their needs? Many times small businesses of all sizes actually, we get into routines, we get into ruts, we get into doing it the way that we've always done it, and it works well enough, so we keep doing it that way, because hey, if it's not broken, why fix it? There's a reason to fix it when it's not broken. It's called creative destruction, and this is the time of the year to do it. If you haven't changed it, it's time to change it. It's time to review it. It's time to initiate new methods. How can you serve your customers better? Because their needs are changing and your competitors are getting hungrier and hungrier. You who are in the room today are survivors. How many do you know who used to sit here with you and they're not here this morning? And the reason is their businesses didn't adapt. The question is, are you adapting to the new economy and the new technology that's taking place? Without significant differentiation, companies disappear in today's marketplace. You've got to have something different, something unique. Otherwise, you're going to have commodity. And if your product or service is just a commodity, then the only thing that differentiates your business from your competitor is convenience and price. And if that's the case, then you're going to be fighting for scraps of business and working on gradually narrower and narrower margins, and it's virtually just a question of time until your venture unwinds and you stop it. So if you're going to stay in business and have a vibrant business that you can turn around and transfer to your kids or to your key employees or sell it on the marketplace, you've got to be innovative. You've got to have something that differentiates your business from your competitors, and you've got to address the changing needs of your customers, because your customers' needs are changing, and they're changing quickly. Technology and the economy are going back and forth with demography, with a baby boomer shift in the aging of the baby boomers. And these three factors together are accelerating, and if you think the last few years have been fast, the next few are going to be faster. So what we need to do this is we need a good solid strategy. So plans are wonderful, but you need something deeper and more powerful than plans. You see, the word plan was first recognized in writing. It's the earliest evidence we can find is about 1670, 1680, and it essentially comes from a word that has to do with plain, like you're looking from a hillside and you're looking over a field and you can see everything. It's in plain view. It's on a plane. And from that you came to plan and planning, because it's what you can see. And it's linear and it's deductive in terms of logic. You see it and you understand it. It's there, it's visible. But you have to lay it out to actualize it. Now, the difference between a plan and strategy is a type of plan, but it involves a more powerful component. You've got to know your place in the marketplace. How does your firm show up? What do your customers say about your business? What do your competitors say about your business? What does your staff say about your business? This isn't the time to tell yourself the things you've been telling yourself, your elevator pitch, that you give your 30-second talk of, this is who I am, this is what I do. Is that gloss? What's true about your business? Really, this is the time to take a good cold look at yourself in the mirror. Look at your business, look at your marketplace, look at your competitors. What are you doing in terms of your business in the marketplace? Are you growing or surviving? You know the facts. Half the businesses are out of business in the first 5 years, and of the ones that survive, half of them are out of business. So overall, it's between an 86 and 94% failure rate of businesses within the first 10 years. There's two different numbers, because 86% of the businesses are gone, and that's the ones who are just gone. But the ones that are left, the 16% that are left, they're in business, but they're just in business. The next number, the 94% who fail, that's the difference between the ones that they're in business, but they're just existing. They're surviving, they're existing, they have a job. It's what's called an adolescent or an immature business. If the owner isn't there to run it, the business comes to a grinding halt. What you want to create is you want to create a business that will run whether you're there or not, so that you can do what Michael Gerber says, work on your business, not in your business. Then you have a genuine business that you can put on the market, you can transfer to another person, whether it's to an adult child or whether it's to a key employee, but you can genuinely transfer the business. Otherwise, you're just going to liquidate, close it up, and move on. And all those years you've put into your business will have earned the money you've earned, but you will have lost a huge value in all of the goodwill and the customer and base and all of the systems that you've developed. So the question you have to ask is, are you growing or are you just surviving? And what is your niche? What is that unique aspect that your customers value and your competitors fear? What is that core competency that you perform that your customers say, wow, thank you. They value it. They appreciate it. They come back to you. Why? Because you help them. And you're a valuable resource to them. Hone in on what is that key and come to know it more and more, and then outsource everything else that you're able to outsource so that you can focus on that niche. Where can you innovate? You've got to be looking at every single thing you're doing and asking yourself the question, how can I do this better? How can I do this faster? How can I do it less expensively? Or how can I increase the quality, increase the customer satisfaction? Because if you increase customer satisfaction, you can increase your revenue, you can increase your prices, because you're doing something better for them. They're willing to pay you more because it's of greater value to them. So that's why you have to drive innovation. So we're talking about Richard Grumall. Richard Grumall wrote a book called Good Strategy, Bad Strategy, and I'm going to pass it around here on the iPad. So He produced this book, published this book last June, and he has some controversial things to say. I don't agree with everything he says, but he's got some good ideas. And what he says is the essential aspect of a strategy, what he calls a good strategy, and he differentiates good strategy from bad, that it's got to have these three elements to be a kernel, what he calls a kernel. Oh, you have to handle it sort of on the edges, or it'll start doing things. Okay, so you need a diagnosis. Now, a diagnosis is what? You don't have a diagnosis when you have a state of health. You have a diagnosis when you have the potential of a state of illness. So, this is one of the things I have a little problem with, Richard, on. But yes, it's good to inspect. You know, that's why we go to the doctor to get a checkup. The best time to go to a doctor is when you're feeling fine. Not when you're feeling ill. Don't wait till you feel ill. Go when you're feeling fine so he can check you out to keep you healthy. He's going to be looking for symptoms so he can make a diagnosis. A diagnosis, your kids come up to you, they're coughing, they're sneezing, they're blowing their nose, and you say, cold, or uh-oh, flu. Or they have other symptoms, and you say, measles or mumps. One eye, you know. So these are the diagnoses that you've been making, and you make diagnoses all the time. We all do. That's how we interpret our reality, is doing this form of analysis. Do this form of analysis on your business. The next piece is you need a guiding policy. A guiding policy is what in the medical world would be termed a treatment plan. What is the treatment plan? Kids got cold, off to bed. Okay, chicken soup, you know, whatever your litany is, cough drops, cough medicine, right? What is your guiding policy to match the diagnosis of your business? So you have, this is a very tricky piece right here. This is much more than meets the eye. You have to do a diagnosis on your business, and then you have to come up with that treatment plan, that guiding policy that's going to catapult you over the issue. And then you need coherent action, a series of practical, step-by-step things that are affordable that you can do and that you can continue doing that's going to fulfill that guiding policy, and it's going to end up in fulfilling the one more. Did everybody see their heads around? There we go.
I think I'll do this.
There we are. That's better. All right. You can write it down.
I hear $25, 25.
Actually, if you buy it in hardcover, it's $28. If you download it, it's about $15. Okay, so this is Richard Rumolt's 3 elements necessary to fulfill his qualification for good strategy. Now, how many have used the SWOT analysis? Okay, we've got a few people who have used SWOT. All right, so basically, you take a sheet of paper, you cut it into 4 quadrants, and you write down your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. So, give me an example of a strength for the PUD. Of 1 or 2 strengths. Just top level.
Low rates.
There we go. And the rates are still low. Nationally, they're low. It's good that you're laughing. Good that you're laughing.
Reliability.
Reliability, very good.
That's a good word.
Who's got another example of a strength in their business? Or the police department? What's a strength in the police department?
Very talented people working for us.
Wonderful. Also weapons. I mean, we're talking strength here, right?
Tasers, that's
Okay, now let's go to weaknesses. So now one thing about the top 2, the strengths and the weaknesses, these are generated from within your organization. These things, the strengths and the weaknesses, refer to the current situation and the past. And they are generated from within. You are responsible. this is your area where you have control. I'll use that with little quotes around it, control. Okay, then these lower two are generated from externally, from your marketplace, from the environment, and they relate to the present situation and to the future. All right, so disadvantages, gap in experience or knowledge, financial aspects, reliability and trust, loss of key staff. Who's got an example of a potential weakness, maybe for the community of Castle Rock, or for your business, or for an industry? What's a potential weakness? It's harder to come up with weaknesses.
Loss of a good employee.
Yeah, exactly. Or, heavy debt. Or credit cards, too many credit cards. Or your service vehicle is old. Or your equipment, you need to update your computers. Or you just got a virus. You don't have good virus protection. Or you haven't reconciled your checkbooks in a while. These are all weaknesses, okay? Now let's look at opportunities. Strategic alliances, partnerships, product development, import, export, innovation, technology development. So, opportunities. It's January. This is a wonderful time to call all your customers and wish them a Happy New Year. And say, how was your holidays? This is a wonderful time to reestablish. How many people sent Christmas cards this year? Yeah, well, they're okay. The ones who didn't, now's the time to make a phone call. It's okay, but do something today. Take this opportunity and do something. So, who's got an example of an opportunity? Mike, you were telling me of an opportunity. Your booklet machine, right? You're one of the only printers in the county with a booklet machine. There's people, how many, now the need for printed materials is changing, but there are still a lot of people who produce booklets. So Mike here has got one of the best pieces of equipment to fill that specific need. And an opportunity at this time of year, because there's going to be reports, there's going to be annual publications that are going out, that are going to present their firm for boards of directors. So you have a wonderful opportunity right now to contact those people who you believe are best suited to need a booklet like the PUD.
I've got a quote in right now.
Okay, good. All right, now the last is threats. Threats are, what's going to happen if Mount St. Helens blows again, right? Okay, that's a threat, or a earthquake off the coast. Something like happened in Japan, or some kind of nuclear accident, or another terrorist attack, or something, another 9/11. If the Greek and the Italian and the Spanish debt, continue. If the Germans decide they are not going to put any more money into the Greek situation. If the euro collapses, the stock market, all these things are threats. But guess what? You have no control of most threats. No control. You do need to have a plan of what you're going to do if that threat materializes. So you have that control. You can take action on what you can do in your business. So, we're consultants, we're management consultants, we're business coaches, we develop systems, we do coaching, we help organizations of all sizes, both for-profit and non-profit, of all sizes. We have sliding scales, and we have educational programs. This is part of our curriculum. It's entrepreneur curriculum. We've been doing this for several years. We've worked in a number of cities, in Cathlamet and Longview and in Portland and in Coos Bay and other communities. We do face-to-face events just like we're doing here today. And then we have webinars and we have asynchronous platforms. That means you can go online 24/7 from any internet computer. You pay a fee, you go to a URL, you watch the videos, you listen to the audios, you download the documents, you go through the step-by-step instruction program, and you accelerate and improve your business operation, your management knowledge, and it's all backed up by individual coaching one-on-one. Whether we do a group program like this or whether you're involved in a webinar or asynchronous, Each of our programs is backed up by individual one-on-one coaching because, hey, you can go to the bookstore and buy books, go to the library, go searching on the internet. The difference is, can you put that material to work in your business today, this week, next week, consistently? So we have strategic planning, insight to action. Many of the ideas we were talking about today are drawn from that. Then we have business navigation 101. Tear off the blindfold and steer this ship. Hey, that's a steering wheel in front of you. Wake up. And then we have right person, right job, improving staff productivity. You're either managing employees or you're managing yourself. You've got to know more about human dynamics. Each one of us has to understand and be able to read our customers, read our vendors, and most importantly, read our staff. We have to have deeper, more insightful knowledge of what's driving the other person and how we can better communicate, understand, and fill that person's abilities and fill that person's needs and desires and how we can support and help them. So what is your strategy? Our slogan is, be the wind, not the leaf. Thank you very much for your time today. I realize.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any specific questions for John?